Alright guys, welcome back. Okay, so without wasting any time, in this video we're gonna work on change passwords, validations and processing. So like I said, I don't want to waste time. Let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do is create a validation helper. I don't know what to name it because it's gonna be quite long. So let's see, let's call it, I'm gonna create a class, by the way, within our helper package in validations, and then I'm gonna call this change passwords. That's quite a long name, but in any case it's fine. By the way, if I didn't explain it, you don't have to name it this way. Validation helper, you don't have to. I'm just trying to be organized so that when I see a class change validation helper, there should be, I'm just going with the structure. So should be there should be a folder called helper, and then within there should be validations. So I'm just keeping it so that I know how, when I'm looking for these classes, I know where to navigate. So but you can name it whatever you want. So the first thing is we need 3 fields, right? String, I'm gonna call this one current. This one is gonna be new password, right? And then this one is gonna be current, confirm password. Alright, so we need the constructor. I'm just gonna select all of them, and then here we need to add obviously this is going to contain our errors, right? And here we're going to say okay. Just gonna come in here and copy this part. And then this one is gonna just be so this one for here we're just gonna generate our actually we just need getter methods. We don't need to set anything. Alright, so here obviously we're gonna do the whole check for empty fields. Alright, so I'm gonna come into the sign in validation helper. I'm just gonna copy what we did in here because it's gonna be pretty much the same thing, and then I'm gonna paste it there. Then obviously we need to add an extra if block, paste it there. So we need to change that from get current, right, get new passwords, get confirm password. Alright, so obviously here we need to say current, and this one we're going to say new password, and then here we're going to say confirm password. Okay, then obviously we need to come within our constructor and then call that method there. What's going on here? Okay, and then the other thing is that for these two methods we need to obviously create a method where we check if the two passwords match. So we can come in our sign up validation method, and then remember we did a method similar to that one, so we can copy basically everything that we did here, right? Come back here, right? We're gonna say get, we're gonna check obviously the get new password, and then we're gonna check if it matches the new, what you call it, the confirm password. So here I'm gonna say new password, and then obviously new, sorry, confirm password. Okay, then we can just call that method up here, check if passwords match. Alright, we're not actually getting the email, so that's fine, but what else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? Let me just double check. We can do another thing where we want the user to enter. We might need to check for the password length, so we can copy this as well. So again, I went into the sign up validation helper. I'm just gonna take that and then just make sure that I paste it here. Get a new password, and then we're just gonna check and see if it's great. If it's less than 8 characters, we're gonna obviously pop up that message. Same thing goes for the confirm one. Then here we're gonna say get confirm password. Then again we just call that method up here, check password length. Alright, so that should be it. I don't think we need to do anything else. We can, but I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist of it. Okay, so that's the change password validation helper. So then now we need to go into the, let me close this, let me close that. We need to go where? We need to go in the change password controller. Let me close that. Okay, we're gonna come back to this shortly, but let's come into this. So, post mapping, and then obviously we're gonna copy that. Before we do this, so there's a couple of things we need to take, right? Request param, we need to get the token, we need to get the code, right? Then we need to also get the current password. Alright, so just to recap, we have token, current, token, let me put this on the next slide. We have token, code, current, new password, confirm password. All these five fields or properties we are getting from here. We got the current password, new password, and confirm password, and then we also have the code and token up here. So this is where we're getting the token. This is where we're getting the code, and then obviously the password and all of that is from the form. All right, so coming back here, the first thing we need to do, let me say return this dot page. Okay, right, so we obviously have to take in the fields. All right. Okay, so the other thing that we need to do, let me call this so remember, we still have to validate the token and code. So when we're done processing everything, we are basically going to clear this token and code, right? So it's pointless for a user to keep continuously click on this link, whereas that token and code is not going to exist. So we are going to need to validate against that here, so that if the user clicks on this very same email link again, it'll just redirect them back to an error page. So it's similar to what we did, let me see, in there's a controller for that. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's index. No, it's not index, it's the authenticator one. So remember, here we have this method here where we are validating the token and code. So it's pointless for a user to come and click in that code and then and then proceed, whereas the code token and code is not going to exist, because we're going to use those links. So just go back to the author controller, and then let's copy this part right here where we need to verify the token and code, right? So I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to come back here. Firstly, we need to say user service, right? And then here we're going to validate. Okay, this doesn't need to be an integer, it's just going to be a string. it. Let me just change that to code, and you should be fine here. So here, let me just remove that. So here we're validating to see if the token in code still exists. So basically we're checking to see if this field is not null and this one is not 0. And then here, once it collects that information, if it is null, it'll just redirect the user to an error page. All right, at least we have that part. So now if not, then we proceed with validating whatever input, whatever the user has placed, whatever input the user put in the form. Okay, so now we need to do another if statement. So we're gonna say if so obviously we got, oh yeah, let me close this, let me close that. We need to create a getter method, or we do actually have it. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna say validate dot get errors. If that is not empty, if it's not empty, we obviously redirect the user back this dot page, and then we're gonna send them to the change password page. And then obviously we're gonna send back the errors. We're gonna say dot add object. So remember we have a a constant for that, which is gonna be form data. And then we just say validate dot get errors. And then so so we're not gonna do this thing where we keep the okay, maybe the current password we can keep, right? So let's do that. Yeah, I think we can do that. This dot page dot add object. I'm just gonna call it current pass. And then what we're gonna do is return current, right? And then here within the change password page, we're gonna set the value equal to, so we can say request what did I name it? Current pass. Okay, so the current password can stay there, it's not a train smash, but we need to add what we need to add is the JavaScript, so that the border goes the border is displayed as red. So I'm gonna copy that code. Is it sign in? Let's go to sign in. So I need to copy this code. So the if block that we did in the previous videos, I'm just gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna come here, and then I'm just gonna paste it. How did I did it the last time? Yeah, I'm just gonna put it within the div. Right, so remember the form errors one is gonna contain these names. New, it's gonna contain these names: current, new, password, confirm. Right, so the first one is gonna be current, right? So remember, these are the IDs of the input fields, so we need to change that to current. And then obviously what we're checking for here with this expression is for current. Hopefully that's right. Let's copy that again. paste it there. And then what's this one? This is new password, correct? So it should be the same there. It should be the same there. There as well. And there as well. I'm gonna copy that again. And then this one should be confirm password. And then the ID of must be confirmed password as well. Okay, then I'm gonna copy this. Alright, and then I'm gonna come up here and then paste that in the action, and then the method is gonna be post. Alright, so in terms of the change password form, we're basically done. I just want to see if the validations work before we start creating the method to update our password. Alright, so yeah, let's do that. Let's quickly check the validations. So I'm going to run the application. I just need to refresh this. So if I click submit, okay, there's errors there. Let's see. Token for method parameter type string is not present. Hold on for me 1 second. Oh, okay, my apologies. So there's one thing I forgot to do. In here, so okay, so the token and string, I need to place them within hidden fields, right? So what we need to do is somewhere, let's just go below the current and new password. So here I'm gonna input, I'm gonna put an input field here, right? The type is gonna equal to hidden. The value. Now, how are we gonna get the value within the URL? For example, how are we gonna get this the code and the token string? We're gonna use an expression that comes with Java Server Pages. So I'm gonna put in that expression there, and then I'm gonna say param. There's gonna be brackets, and then I'm gonna say token, and then the name is gonna equal to token, right? And that's it. So basically this param, this expression here is basically gonna pull this token here. So that param is gonna pull that token here. That's what we're basically taking there. So the name of the param is token, which is that up there, which is gonna get this value, this token value. So we're gonna do the same thing with the code now. I'm gonna copy this field, paste it there, and then instead of token I'm gonna say code, and then obviously the name field should be code, right? Okay, in fact I was actually mistaken with with this part. I think it's supposed to be in the, it's supposed to be within the get method. Apologies for that. I believe it's supposed to be within the get method here. That's fine there. We don't need to take that off. right? So when the user first hits this URL, it'll do this check, redirect them to the error page. Otherwise, it will just display it. And then for here, where we are getting the token and code, it's basically from the hidden fields that are gonna be there, right? So we should be fine for now. So let me refresh this. Let me run the application again. I think I'm correct. If not, we will remove that method. So let me refresh. Okay, it's giving me an error again. And what did I do here? Oh, apologies. I forgot to auto wire this. It's funny, it didn't give me the error the first time, or actually it did. Okay, let me try again. Let's see. Failed to pass token and code. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna comment this out. See if I still get the same errors. I'm continuously getting errors now. Let me just refresh. Did I type it wrong? Oh, apologies for that, guys. So it looks like I was missing a semicolon there. Not a semicolon, a quotation mark there. Okay, let's try again. I'm gonna uncomment this just to make sure that let's try again. Okay, looks like that's working. Alright, so my apologies, maybe you guys probably saw it. I was missing a quotation mark on both these values. Alright, let's check if the validations work. So if I submit, we should see red borders around these fields. Let's click submit. Nothing. Did I not put the... Okay, it's up there. So what did I do wrong? So we have current. We have current. The ID is there. Okay, for some reason it's not showing the errors. I mean the validations, including the what did I do here? One second for me. Alright guys, welcome back. So I found what the problem was. So I made a mistake here. Instead of form errors, I said form data. So that's why it wasn't returning the errors when we were being redirected back to the change password page. So probably you guys saw that and noticed the error, but yeah, so if you made the same mistake as me, just change that to form errors. Then I'm gonna save and run the application. Okay, just gonna refresh the page. Alright, so if I submit, okay, now we get our validations. Alright, so now let's work on basically processing the change password form. Okay, so we need to go into our repository as well, where we have to change the password. So you have to come here, so we're gonna need a couple of things. We're gonna need obviously the token, this is gonna be the code, which will be a string, and then obviously we also need the password. So I'm gonna put these on next line so that we can see them clearly. So we're gonna need the token, code, and password, right? Alright, so gonna set token to null. We're gonna set the code equal to 0. Don't put it to null because it's gonna Spring Boot is gonna complain. And then obviously the password is gonna change to whatever the new password is. We need to put the, and then we also need to set updated at equal to, we're gonna use this MySQL function for that, which is now, right? So let me close these. Right, I'm gonna put this on the next line as well. I'm gonna say where the token equals to the token that we're getting through the hidden fields. Sorry, not token, not code, I mean token. And where the code equals to that. So we're gonna use that token and code basically that we're getting from the URL, and then it should match what we have here in the database. The code and token should match what we have in the database. So whatever is in the URL or in the hidden fields, it should match what we have in the database, and then we will only change if they do match. So that's basically what we are doing over here. Okay, so update user, set token to null, code equal to 0, the password will equal to whatever the new password is, and then updated at will equal to now. And then we need to create a service method for that. Where should I put it? Let's put it down here. Okay, so here from this point on, this is where we're going to process changing the password itself. All right, so right now we're going to need to get the I don't believe we have a class for that, do we? Okay, let's quickly do that. Let's get the database password. So we're gonna say at Alright, so we're gonna use this method to get the current hashed password within the database, but we're gonna use the token and code that again is being supplied through the hidden fields, and that was generated, that was sent to the user via email. Okay, so let's come back here. Okay, so we're gonna do what? We're gonna get the code, token, and then code. Right. So we're gonna use the bcrypt object to check and see if the passwords match. So we're checking the current password along with the current password to see if it matches if it matches what's in the database. So for that we need the bcrypt object, and then we're gonna say check password, and then the first password we're gonna place in there is the plain text password. So we're gonna get that using the validate dot get current, yeah, and then from there we're gonna place in the hashed db password, which is what we're getting here. So if these two don't match, we're gonna send back the user back to the to the error page. So for that we're gonna say this. I'm gonna copy this actually. What did I do here? Yeah. So here we're gonna change that to error. We're just gonna say current password incorrect. Okay, and then right. So remember, the user will put in the current password. If it doesn't match what's in the database, we're just gonna return them back here and say, hey, this doesn't match. All right, and then otherwise, we're gonna continue. Alright, so if the passwords match, then we can proceed here. So here we're gonna first we have to hash the password. gonna need to get the validate dot get new password, right? And then we're gonna say bcrypt dot gensalt, right? And then we're gonna say int result user service dot change password. And then what do we need? We need the token code and then the hashed new password. I hope you guys can see everything there. And then again, I'm gonna just take this, I'm gonna paste it there. We're gonna redirect the user back and say something went wrong. Redirects, contact your administrator. Alright, and then other than that, we're gonna send the user back to the success page. Alright, so I'm gonna paste this again here. So instead of error, I'm gonna say success. Here we're gonna change this right. We're gonna take them to the success page, and then here we will just say alright, so just to recap, we're getting the validations here, right? We check to see if there are any errors. If there are, we're gonna redirect back to the change password along with those errors, like what you're seeing here currently. And then if that's not the case, if all the validations pass, like I said, you can do whatever, you can add whatever methods in here you want to do whatever checks, and then you should be able to process them. Then we are getting the password in the current password that's in the database, but what we're using is the current token and code again, which was sent through the email, right? Which was sent through the email, which is currently what is set within the database, right? We're retrieving it, and then we're using those two properties to get the current user's password, right? Because we're not using an email, so we need to use something. So the token and code should be fine, and then we're getting the hash db password, right? Then we're checking to see if the password that the user, so remember how we're checking the code. Remember when the get method loads, it does check to see if the password, the token that we're getting from the user in the URL, within the URL URI, the properties within the URL, we're checking to see if they are there. If they're not there, it's just gonna redirect the user back. But if it loads, it means those two properties exist. And then when we come in here, we're using that token and code to get the current hashed password that's in the database, right? Then we're checking to see if the current plain text password that the user is passing in, right, this one here, of which we're getting through this validate object, if that current password doesn't match the hashed password that we're getting from the DB, again, we're taking them back. We're going to display an error to say, hey, current password is incorrect. Otherwise, if everything is fine, we're just going to proceed with changing the password, right? And if we do succeed in changing the password, we redirect the user back to the success page, and then we're going to display a message to say password changed successfully. Then we can proceed to log in, right? Hopefully we've done everything correct. Let's just rerun the page, the application. So currently within the database itself, if you check, these two objects should be null, after we've done everything correctly. The date should also change. As you can see, the last time, currently the updated ad is not showing anything. For some reason the created ad is not, but it's fine. But the password as well should change. As you can see, this is the current value. So in any case, I think the application is running. Looks like it's not. What's happening here now? To display, what's going on? What did I do? Let's see. Oh, okay. I forgot again to. I think that's what the problem is. Let me run again. Okay, looks like that sorted it out. Let's refresh. Obviously we're gonna get our validations here. So the current password, remember we're getting it via email, which is this. I'll change the text so that at least we can pretty much view that error message. I mean our password, sorry. So okay, I'm gonna just copy that password, right? And then I'm gonna paste it there. So I'm just gonna submit again. Fine, we need to add the new password. The new password, I'm gonna set it to what it was this before. So let's say password 123. Actually no, let me change it to password 1234. 4 and then 3 4. So if everything is in order, we should be able to update our password. Okay, looks like we did, but for some reason our message is not showing. Sign in. Alright, so if I try to sign in now with the saved password, it's not gonna work. So if I click sign in, it's gonna say incorrect username and password. But before signing in, let's check within the database. So if I go one up, as you can see, the token is gone, the code is set to 0, updated at is also showing the date, and the password is different now. So looks like what we did was correct. Let me just add a 4 at the end there. I want to see or sign in, and it looks like we did manage to sign in and change our password. And then we can sign out again, and then everything should be fine. So at least we are done with that part. So the last part of this video should be this was one of the most complicated parts, you know, the forgot password and the sign up part. So the last part of the video should be when we sign in, we can change the password here. So we're practically gonna do the exact same thing we did. The only difference is that it's just gonna be slightly different. We're not gonna send any email. We're just gonna access the page without having to do all the URL stuff and whatnot, because the user is doing it while authenticated. So this part shouldn't be that complicated. Alright, but for this part of the video, this should be done. At least we got all the difficult parts out of the way. And then, like I said, the last part that we should be working on is the change password within the application itself. We don't even need to do it, but just to complete the project, I'm just gonna do this part, and then we should be done for now. We should be done with the whole tutorial. In any case, thanks again for watching, guys. Unfortunately, we had a couple of errors in a couple of places. The video took long, but again, if you've watched up until this point, thanks again for watching. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys within the next video. Cheers for now.